all that, my first guest is Ireland's favourite bishop, who just celebrated 25 years in comedy by completing a sellout arena tour and releasing his latest stand-up show live from Dublin. If that wasn't enough, his life has now been made into a Hollywood movie directed by Bradley Cooper, proving that some bishops can actually perform miracles. Would you please welcome John Bishop? Gym for you there. I mean, wherever you want, John. Wherever you want, you can sit there.
I'll
you can
lie
sit
down.
There. You can lie here. Great to finally have you on. We've been trying to get you on for so long. You are the busiest man in the world, and now you are on top.
I'm not. Donald Trump is the busiest man in the world.
Busy doing nothing, John. You're busy doing something. And you are top of the world with this. When you say someone's got a new movie out, you kind of think, tell us the small part you're going to be in it. But this is actually a movie about John Bishop's life. You're up there now with Elvis and Muhammad Ali. This is the John Bishop biopic. How cool is this?
Yeah, I'm up there with two dead people. Thanks. Yeah, it's funny, actually, because that was one of the things that when we were talking about doing it, and I met with the studio, and they were talking about how we do all this promotion and stuff. And I said to them, obviously, you've done all this before, films about other people. And they said, no one who's alive, no. And it is mad. It is mad. It's a film based on how I got into comedy.
Which was basically by accident.
Completely by accident. I ended up being in a comedy club in Manchester. And because I didn't want to pay to get in, I ended up having to do some jokes. And that just led to this life. OK, talk to us about the point of your life that you were going through whenever this stand-up opportunity came around. So I was married. I got married to Melanie, and we were living in Manchester. And you know, we had kids, 3 kids, all born close together because I'm a good shot. And obviously, you know, I'm from Liverpool, she's from Manchester, so they're mixed race. And that's a good gag, innit?
I mean, it's a good gag.
And so anyway, so we had 3 kids, and we were just like anyone else. Something just happened, and it's very much revealed in this film, where the way the film begins, you know, the couple break up, but there's no big argument, there's no affair. Sometimes that's the way it is. It just dissolves sometimes, doesn't it? You don't know what happened and you don't know why. And so I ended up, you know, every Monday I'd be on my own. I'd have the kids for the weekend, and I hated Mondays. So I was in Manchester one Monday night looking for something to do, went past the Frog and Bucket Comedy Club, and I'd only ever been to 2 comedy clubs in my whole life. And I thought, I'll go in and someone will make me laugh and I'll stop feeling lonely. And so I got to the door, and the guy on the door said, it's £4 to get in, unless you put your name down. And I said, put my name down for what? He said, an open mic night. I didn't even know what that means. He said, that means that if your name gets called out, you go on stage, but it also means you don't have to pay £4. Well, I was getting divorced, so I thought, well, that's £4 she's not getting. So put my name down, go in, get called out, go on stage, and then this whole new life opened for me.
But Melanie, your wife, didn't know that you'd got this new life.
No.
And then there's a gig that happens where she just randomly... This is so good.
I mean, what happened was I started doing it, and because it was like, I don't know, it was just giving me a way to talk about what I was going through without anyone knowing. So I didn't tell any of my mates, didn't tell anybody. And then I got a phone call from this comedy club, the Frog and Bucket, one Thursday night. Someone had dropped out and said, will you come and fill in? And I didn't have the kids, so I went, yeah. So I turned up. Now, at this point, we've been apart nearly 2 years. And I used to go on stage and to let all the ladies in the room know I was a single man. I used to go on and go, I'm a bit sad tonight, ladies and gentlemen, because me and my wife are no longer together. Oh, it's not that bad, honestly. We're not divorced or anything. I've just killed her. But I knew I was going to miss her, so I've kept her head in the fridge. That's right. Not the best joke in the world, admittedly.
OK.
But I walked on stage, I said that joke, I looked to the left, and the head that was meant to be in the fridge was sat in the audience. And what had happened...
She randomly turned up?
No, so what had happened, she got... When you split up with somebody, you end up with parallel lives. So it's like railway lines. You joined, but you're not connected. So I didn't know what was happening with her. She got a new job. Someone she worked with, it was the birthday. They said, let's go to a comedy club. She doesn't know I do stand-up comedy. They don't even know my name, who she's with. So when my name gets called out, they can't understand why she goes, what the fuck? And then I come on, tell a load of jokes about killing her and keeping her head in the fridge in front of a room full of strangers. And then afterwards, I remember seeing it. I remember because we were at the final stages of the divorce, and I remember seeing it and thinking, oh, Jesus, that's going to cost me another 10 grand. and then at the end, and it's very much reminiscent of what happens in the film. She came over to me at the end, and I thought we were going to have an argument because we really didn't talk a lot at that point. All the arrangements were made with the kids. We didn't have to talk a lot. And she just came over to me and she said, and I was expecting a row. She said, that was a surprise. I said, yeah, you mean the stand-up? She said, no, you were funny. She said, I've not seen you like that since I don't know when. She said, you remind me of the man that I met, that little glimpse in your eye and the spring in your step. She said, whatever happened to you? I said, I married you. So she said, can we do something about it? And we did. We ended up going to relate and counselling and just found our way back to each other. And that's the genesis of this film.
I mean, it's such a good story. It is such a good story. And so cut to Will Arnett and somebody called Bradley, what's his name?
Tommy
Cooper.
Bradley Cooper.
Bradley Cooper. So Bradley Cooper is now directing this movie. They've taken your life as inspiration. They have set this in New York.
Yeah.
But pretty much everything that's happened in the moments in the relationship are based on what happened. It's so good. This is a little clip.
I've been doing stand-up. Is it like a hobby? Well, I'm not about to quit my job and go on tour. It's just it's something I look forward to. Hey, listen, do you mind if I drop them off here for a couple hours?
Don't ambush me like this in front of the boys. You suck.
You suck.
Give it up for me, I'm doing great. I'm paying rent on a shitty apartment and mortgage for a house that I don't even live in anymore.
So I'm the only one who doesn't know about this?
I was thinking about this during the week. So you're one of the biggest stand-ups that we have on this side of the pond. Did Will Arnett know who you were? Because if somebody's pitched a movie where they're playing a bishop with two kids that are separated from their partner, that doesn't narrow it down in Ireland.
No, so what happened, to be honest, is I met Will Arnett in Amsterdam on a barge, which is the start of All Stories. 8 years ago, someone introduced me and said, telling that story. And that story I just told you is a story I told when I was on my last tour. It's the only way I can tell the story of what happened, because it's the truth. And he just went, man, that would make a great film. Can I have a go at writing it with his writing partner, Mark Chappell? So they started writing it. And, well, they started writing it, and I was writing it with them.
I know.
So they'd send the script, and then I'd send notes on the script, and I'd send my bits of the script in, and then they'd send me a new version of the script back, and I had none of my bits in it. And I'd go, well, you must have missed the email. I'll send my bits back. And then in the end, I went, it's better that you do it. You write it. I'll sort of oversee the sort of story side and contribute where I can. But you write it, and then a few years ago, Bradley Cooper was on a plane with Will Arnett. Bradley says, what are you working on? Will tells him. He said, can I read it? And then he goes, can I direct it?
And he also stars in this as well.
Well, the thing about it, he stars as a character called Balls. That wasn't my picking. But he plays the best friend of Will Arnett, which is effectively my best friend, which means all of my fat balls mates. And I'll go around going, Bradley Cooper's me in a film.
And then, so Bradley turns up at the screening at the London Film Festival. Who was more excited, you seeing yourself up on the big screen, or Melanie actually meeting Bradley Cooper?
Well, to be honest with you, for us as a couple, you can imagine, because that was one of those, that period in our life could have gone so many different ways. So there's been a lot of emotions with this. And also we put a lot of trust in them to make it. And so when we had the first big screening, Melanie said, look, I really want 5 minutes with Bradley Cooper on my own. And I went, so what for? She said, I just want 5 minutes with him. So she pulled him to one side and she said, look, Bradley, I didn't know what this would be, but this is the film that I always dreamed it could be. And I'm just glad that she summed it up. She said, you took something precious and you've handed it back to us.
Because it's not just your story, it's her story as well.
Yeah. Well, there's a scene in the film where we have to do this intimate thing of taking headlights, checking each other for headlights. And that really happened. And what happened, Laura Dern got cast, and then Laura reached out to Melanie and said, can I meet you and get your side of the story? And so she's put so much into it that reflects what goes on. So it feels our film. I've got to tell you this, though, because we had a big thing in London on Monday, and then we had a big dinner with the cast, and so there was Bradley there, and Will Arnett there, and Kieran Hines there, and Andrea Day, and Laura Dern.
Kieran Hines is so
Oh,
good.
fantastic as my dad, brilliant. And so we had this big dinner, and then we go back to the hotel. It was like the last time we all think we'll be in the same room together, and we go back to the hotel, have a drink, and then the next morning we all got together again to do some press. And as I walked into the room with Melanie, Bradley goes, how was last night? How did you feel about the screening? And how was last night? And I said, Bradley, it was lovely. I said, you know, for me, I said, I've got to tell you that if somebody makes a Hollywood film about your life that expresses how much you really love your wife, even though at that time in your life you weren't able to find the language to express it to her. I said, and then they put it on a big screen and you see it. I said, it's not half an aphrodisiac. Melanie's face was like beaming.
I love that you brought the kids to the premiere as well. I mean, what did they make of seeing their mum and dad's story up there?
It's strange because they were little. They were 5, 3 and 1 when it happened. Oh, God. See that picture? Let me tell you that picture. Yeah. Because what happened, we were going to this London premiere, and that's not what we do, you know what I mean? So as we get out the car, the kids would say, Dad, do not look like a competition winner. Do not be... The thing that you've got to do is not smile. That's the cool thing to do. So look at us. It's a fantastic picture.
Was this before they posted on Instagram that you guys were all about Bran Bishop?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now one of me lads feels that I've ruined his life.
So look, you just finished the stand-up tour. You recorded the special here in Dublin, and normally people, you know, stand-ups, they put their feet up. You're going back out again.
I know, because the last tour I did was 25 years, and in many respects it was a bit of a greatest hits. It was also my opportunity to tell that story in line with the film, and it's what I do, Paddy. You know what I mean? It's like this thing, stand-up comedy, I owe so much to it because it got me family back. If this hadn't have happened, being on a stage, making strangers laugh, we may not have found each other again. So I feel in some respects, I owe it. I love it.
Look, it is such a good story. It is such a good movie. It is fantastic to have you sitting in this chair. Give it up for Mr. John Bishop. Thank you very much. The good news is John is staying with us. Is This Thing On will be in cinemas from January the 30th.